Some of the real life stories. Johor. Now, Johor is a state in Malaysia. It's in the southern state. It's just next to Singapore Island. In those days, many, many years ago, to take a budget airline like Air Asia, Vietnamese team knows Air Asia, you need to take a cab from Singapore to Johor. So I was doing something in Singapore and I decided to go to Johor. So I was in a cab. And those days, I have photos of ETs, but I never had photo of their ETVs. So I was in a cab, and I look out of the window of the cab, the taxi, and I said to myself in my mind, telepathy, which they receive. I said, you know, you've been in contact with me, but I've never had a photo of your craft. I said, it'll be nice if you let me photograph you. That's all I think. And I look out, I didn't see any craft, and I just went back to resting. And then moments later, there was a beautiful sunset. So I wound down the window of the taxi. Now that's important to know, because if you take a photo through glass, then skeptics will say, oh, it's just a reflection from here, it's a reflection from there. So I wound down the window, I took out my little digital camera and snapped 3 shots. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this came in my first shot. What do you see? What do you see? Hello? Huh? Louder, louder. A flying saucer, she says. Now, remember, from now, don't say flying saucer, because photos that are taken are ETVs, not UFOs. Yes, yes. There is an ETV in the sky. Now, I'll give you a closer shot. Now, remember, those days, my camera was of lower pixels, okay? You will see that it came from the clouds. So it did this for me at the exact moment. Take that photo. Isn't it amazing? Aren't they amazing? And you will see it's a pyramidal top and a pyramid at the bottom. So sometimes in your meditation, you're not only visualizing yourself in this pyramid, you see another inverted pyramid below you. And you are in the center of this pyramid. You will have awesome, awesome experience. You like this tip? Great. So let's move on. So later, so I'm not going to tell you how I found out that it was an Arcturian starship. I found out it was an Arcturian starship. So it was so incidental. It's not coincidence, so incidental that these were the first ETs to visit me, to establish contact with me. And they are very refined, very, very refined. Millions of years ahead. Now I'll tell you another story, very short one, Massachusetts in America also. So again, in those days, not too far back, maybe 5 years back, or maybe 4 years back, I was in Massachusetts visiting a dear old friend, Catherine. So Catherine brought me, it was very late, we were doing something and we were looking for a restaurant. It's a very funny story of how we eventually come to this restaurant. This was not in the menu, this restaurant. How we came here, and as usual, because I was very photographic, trigger photography person, so in front of the restaurant, I took a photo. Of course, before that, I have an intention. What was my intention? To photograph something from the universe. And they honored my wish. I want to show you how, in the beginning, they keep honoring my wish because they know that I will show it to the world, to you, here. So I say, this is for you. Can you see anything? No? You sure? I cannot see. All right, I'll show you. I'll show you. So on my computer, I could see them. So all I did was lighten the photo, okay? Yes? 2 of them. And I zoom in, and you can see. And they told me they are from Andromeda. Andromedan ship, one of the Andromedan ships. I mean, there are many types of ships. You don't see this on the internet, this particular form, because I didn't put it up there. Usually you see spherical, right? And rod shape, right? And dome shapes. Right. Okay, now the last, I think, this is not the last, this is the second last story for this first half of the presentation. So pre-presentation contact means at Fort Collins, I was supposed to go to Rhode Island to give a presentation, So when I was there, I said to the ETs that night, I said, although I already have so many photos to show during my presentation at Rhode Island, can you give me a spectacular photo, a new photo? I said, please. And then I grabbed my camera at night. So my room was just next to the backyard. So I went out and I started snapping. And immediately, because I use flash, something flashed back. Because usually when I flash out, you see little dots flash back, and usually they're orbs, right? But this time, something like metallic that sounds like a metal, pew, flash back. So I took another one, and the same thing happened. So what was in my mind? My mind was, overhead wires, you know. So I went to the other side of the garden and took. Nothing happened. I came back here again. Then I was tired because I just arrived, and it was so late, so I came back into the room. And usually, I would download my photos immediately and look at them. But that night, just too tired. And I'm one person who can detach easily. We have a saying, what you can pick up, you can drop. Correct? So, if what you pick up is no good, then you drop, right? So anyway, I was tired. I need to look after my health, my consciousness. I went to sleep. Next morning, first thing was I met my friend's husband, Herb. I said, Herb, do you have overhead wires in your backyard? He said, no. In America, the wires are underground. I said, really? So I went outside. Yeah, there were no overhead wires. So immediately, I downloaded my photos. And this was what I saw. Oh. Oops. Oops. No overhead wires. Do you see what I see? Here is an umbrella. Here are some orbs. And do you see this thing here? Yes? Now I zoom in. Wait a minute. Before I zoom in, I want you to see the location. You see the umbrellas here? And this object was above the tree. And in subsequent photos, this object has moved to above the umbrella. I'm trying to validate to you it's not an overhead wire, okay? It has moved position. Now I zoom in for you to see. This was the object. This was the ETV in the sky. Did it look like any you see on the internet? It is so energetic. It's not solid. It's not solid. So ladies, my friends, gentlemen, my friends, expand your mind. Beyond, be limitless. Expand. It's not what you think they are. So, close up. Now, they visit me every time I go there. They come into my bedroom and communicate with me. And the most recent photo I had was, I can't remember which year, let me see. So long ago already. Yeah. In 2012, they visited me again, and, 2016. So it's just last year, just last year. So they visited me again. So they are for real. Okay. So they told me they're from Andromeda. So the message from the Andromedan ETs are, they say we, they're they. We are love in action. Because I was so amazed. I said, thank you so much for, honoring my request for a photo. And then they told me, we are love in action. So my beloveds, let's all be love in action. Yes? Good, thank you. Okay. Now here is just to show you, this during my retreat in America, using some sophisticated camera, which I don't know how to use. But anyway, we managed to capture the path of the extraterrestrial vehicle. This is zoom in. Questions like, how do you know it is an ETV and not a plane? Because planes don't do this. Planes don't do this, okay? So that's one of the ways to distinguish. Oh, I have one more story. Okay. I keep replenishing, changing my slides for every presentation I make until I don't even know what will come out. So here is another story. Now, this story is in my book. I want to tell you that it is really good for you to own a copy of Benevolent Contacts, because it is the book of the ETs. And because the photo at the front, especially the front of the cover, is very energetic. All you have to do is open your heart and beam a golden light to it, and they will communicate with you. I have the name of that, the ETs, the craft, the planet they come from in the book. So I highly suggest. Okay, now we talk about the Tucson experience. In Tucson, I went to the retreat, and in one of the meditations, we say, follow me home. But I didn't go home to Malaysia because I went to Tucson. And they followed me to my hotel in Tucson. I didn't think about it, but I have a habit, a good habit, of whenever I enter a room, a hotel room, I will take photo. I want to see what energy is in that room. And it just so happened, and this particular night, the curtains were not closed. When I entered the room, the curtains were opened. And I like to use flash. And this is what I got. So it was a window or a sliding door. I cannot remember now. A window or sliding door, but I know there was nothing outside. So whatever was outside would have been levitating. Okay? So this was that glass. This is a flash. This was a flash from my camera. This is the lamp reflected from my room. This is the bed. What is this? What is this? And do you see another? Okay, I'll show you the next one. Do you see another hand here? Now, this one, this is a curtain. This white thing is a curtain, see? So, they're showing me the fingers. They're showing you the hand. And one of the fingers is behind the curtain. How I know? Because in this hand, you will be able to see the 4 fingers and 1 hand and something else. Skeptics say it's a fingerprint. I said, come on, look at it. It is alive. And look, it's holding something. It's holding a device. Can you have a fingerprint holding a device? Answer me. No, right? So, they are showing me they're holding a device. Now, later on, in one of the, I don't know where I was, and I connected with them, and they told me this device, they gave it to me, I can go and visit them. Okay? And I'm sorry, I haven't visited them. So, but that's why I say I have a lot of work to do. Okay? Right. So, isn't it amazing? Yes? Right. Now, next. Now, look. Look. Oh, no. Look at this. Look at these. What are these? These are tubings. To me, I call them tubings. You know, in my earlier extraterrestrial contact, I have perceived a lot of ETs with tubes. Perceived them in my photos. I was wondering, are they really ETs? You know, I'm a scientist. I'm a scientist. I have my educational background as a scientist, so I like to analyze things. I don't just accept things as they are. I said, are these my imaginations that, you know, the tubes that come up in the photos? Then somebody showed me a photo of an ET found in the pyramid of Egypt that has all these tubes. I wish I have the photo to show you. I'm sorry, I don't. But they have these tubes. And I felt so good seeing that photo. So all my perception of them was correct. And here, in my photo, was these tubings. Now, same photo. You see the hand and the hand? If you take my book out into the sunlight, in the bright light, you'll be able to see the face. Over here, you can see the eyes. And there's many faces in that photo. Can you imagine, my dears? They're able to materialize their hands and dematerialize their body. Because during that time, I wasn't ready to see them. I only want to photograph them. They show me the hands. Because their face, we judge. We judge. So take a good look at the photo. But to me, they're all beautiful. So beautiful. Okay. The ETs are over 1 million years ahead of us. They know everything about us. I'm not saying we are stupid, please. We are all very intelligent beings. It's just we are blocked. We have light that we need to bring it out. How to bring out that light? Stop worrying too much about things. Remember earlier I said, right? And connect with Source. Meditate. Find the peace within you, you know? And unblock yourself. Then, they travel millions of light years to visit us. What do they see? What do they see? Wars. Political struggles. What's that? Illnesses. They're all fear-based. But of course, they see some of us as the light workers. They see some sparks in some of us. But in many others, no spark. And they wish for all of us to bring out that spark, that light. Okay, they're all fear-based, and throughout all these 4 days, you've been hearing about removing your fears, correct? So are you going to walk that? Remove your fears, be the light. Are you going to be the light? Yes, yes, yes. Let's hear it louder. Yes, very good, excellent. Now, we are still on the first step of a very long journey. Be patient like them. They're very patient. They'll always wait for us. But you can walk a little faster. Walk a little faster. Run. But be patient with yourself. So that benevolence commands my respect. That's what I want to tell you. So, benevolent context, the facts, star beings exist. They love to help us. They are compassionate and loving. So, let us welcome the ETs with open hearts and open arms.